I'm John Hanna, and here are the CDTV.net dividend report for September 8, 2008. Aside from our regular dividend report, we have two experts weigh in on the Freddie and Fannie takeover. But first, the dividend report. Devon Energy announced that its board of directors declared a quarterly cash dividend on Devon's common stock for the third quarter of 2008. The dividend is payable on September 30 at the rate of 16 cents per share based on a record date of September 16, 2008. Devon Energy Corporation is an Oklahoma City-based independent energy company engaged in oil and gas exploration and production. The Lincoln Electric Holdings Incorporated Board of Directors has declared a quarterly cash dividend of 25 cents per share payable October 15 to holders of record as of September 30, 2008. Lincoln Electric is the world leader in the design, development, and manufacture of arc welding products, robotic arc welding systems, plasma and oxy-fuel cutting equipment, and has a leading global position in the brazing and soldering alloys market. First BanCorp announced that the board of directors has declared the next payment of dividends on common shares. Common stockholders of record as of September 15 will receive the 53rd consecutive quarterly dividend payment declared by First BanCorp's board of directors in the amount of 7 cents per share for the third quarter of 2008, payable September 30, 2008. First BanCorp is the parent corporation of First Bank Puerto Rico, a state-chartered commercial bank with operations in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Florida. Guess Incorporated announced that its board of directors has approved a quarterly cash dividend of 10 cents per share on the company's common stock, a 25% increase over the most recent quarterly dividend. This dividend will be payable on October 3rd to shareholders of record at the close of business on September 17, 2008. Guess Incorporated designs, markets, distributes, and licenses a lifestyle collection of contemporary apparel, denim, handbags, watches, footwear, and other related consumer products. The board of directors of FairPoint Communications Incorporated declared a quarterly dividend of 25 cents and change per share on FairPoint's common stock. This dividend will be payable on October 17 to stockholders of record at the close of business on September 30, 2008. FairPoint Communications Incorporated is an industry-leading provider of communication services to communities across the country. T. Rowe Price Group Incorporated announced that its board of directors has declared a quarterly dividend of 24 cents per share payable September 29 to stockholders of record as of the close of business on September 15, 2008. T. Rowe Price Group Incorporated is a global investment management organization with $387.7 billion in assets under management as of June 30, 2008. Dr. Dan Seaver, professor of finance at San Diego State University and the publisher of the PadSystemReport.com website. After a huge bailout, the federal government has now temporarily taken over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Give us your take on what this means to taxpayers, shareholders, and Fannie and Freddie employees.
Well, for Fannie and Freddie employees, I'm afraid some of them, may eventually get laid off because the long-run strategy, I think, is to shrink the size of Fannie and Freddie significantly. For taxpayers, the real problem is in the long run, the U.S. government is taking on a whole bunch of additional liabilities. They're getting a lot of additional assets, but we're not sure what condition those assets are actually in. And if the assets can't cover those liabilities, we'll be injecting new capital, and that will be taxpayer money. For the stockholders, I think that's the saddest story. The common stocks have dropped to about 1 because the federal government is going to call the shots and is going to muscle the common stockholders out of the way with their preferred stock and with their warrants. And I'm afraid the preferred stockholders are also going to take a huge hit because their dividends are going to be stopped, and the value of that kind of preferred, since it's going to come in behind the government's preferred, is probably much lower than it was even thought to be a week ago. So that's going to be a tough break. The main thing I think with dividend investing or anything else is you have to be broadly diversified. And so the idea is that if you are broadly diversified, the hits you take on your Fannie and Freddie should not wipe you out.
We also have Ann Lee on the phone with us, and she is the finance professor at Pace University's Lubin School of Business in New York. Can you tell us your take on the Freddie and Fannie takeover?
I think it's just a bandage move by the government. It has not corrected any of the serious problems that have caused this credit crisis in the first place. And I won't be surprised if there will be more government intervention in the future. This is definitely not the end of this.
So you see more problems down the road, more big institution problems or more mortgage industry related problems?
I think it's widespread. It's every type of credit is being affected by this. Clearly, it probably started at the subprime. It's spread into other forms of credit, in credit cards, etc. And we're seeing defaults everywhere in those areas as well as in commercial real estate. So I think that they've got a bigger problem on their hands, and this is just, like I said, a Band-Aid solution.
How far do you see this problem? 1 year, 2 years, or we still don't know?
We don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it lasted decades.
What do you think would fix this problem?
Well, I've said many times before, the one most important thing is to bring transparency into this market, which still hasn't happened yet. And that's partially because of the Fed protecting the banks. That's the strongest lobby for the banks. I don't see how that's going to change as long as the American public lets this happen.
CDTV.net went to the Couture Fashion Week held at the Westin Times Square in New York City last Friday. The shows we saw were from Sarah Rose Granger, Cecile Perez, and Nedret Tassirolu. Before each show, guests were entertained by great performances from pianist Donna Wang Friedman and violinist Jane Hunt. For a complete list of the designers, go to couturefashionweek.com. For more information about these dividends and other announcements, go to cdtv.net.